What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic. And today we're going to talk some football, NFL football. We're going to talk about some trades that have happened, and we're going to talk about some trades that possibly could happen. And since if you watch most of my videos, you do know I'm a Houston Texans fan. So the one I'm going to start off with first is the Patrick Peterson trade. Now, I said this maybe on my video breakdown after the Bills game. I think I might allude to it then, or maybe another video, but I think I've talked about this before about the Texans going after Patrick Peterson when I first seen that he was possibly could be on the market, and now it's been like more vocal that he's even said, "Hey, get on here, get me out." I know y'all seen the tweets of Honey Badger tweeting out, "Come through 5." At the tweet about I think it was Adam Schefter, tweeting out that Patrick Peterson wanted out. And Tyron, you know, him and Tyron were boys back at LSU, teammates. Also in Arizona, he's one of the reasons why Honey Badger stayed on the straight and narrow, is because he respected Patrick Peterson so much, because he's a teammate, he's like a brother to him. So I would love for the Texans to make that move. The problem with the move is the ammunition. Now I've seen people been talking about, because of the Amari Cooper trade. I'm gonna talk about that because kind of goes together a little bit. But a lot of people are saying that Amari Cooper went for a 1, that Patrick Peterson needs to go for a 1, needs to go for 2 1s. I even seen. NFL doesn't work like that. It's extremely rare for players that are already active to go for #1 overall picks, or #1 first round picks. Only time that really happens is if one happens for quarterbacks, it happens for teams that are desperate. Like when Minnesota lost Teddy Bridgewater, they traded #1 for Sam Bradford. I know we've seen, like I said, this year's a little bit stranger because, I mean, you've seen Khalil Mack go for 2 1s. You've seen Brandon Cook go for a 1 twice. He went for New England, traded him for a 1, and then they traded him again to LA for a 1. But LA was building on a super team, and they just going all in. They don't even care about their picks. They're like, hey, we going all in, and we don't even matter. We just need another outside threat that's fast. So it's very rare for players to go for #1s. I think that more than likely, I thought coming into this that you can probably get Patrick Peterson for a 3 and a 4. Also dealing with his age. I know Amari Cooper, like I said, he just went for a 1, but Amari Cooper's 24 years old. Patrick Peterson's in his 8th year. He's 28. He's in his 8th season. He's already played 7 years. He's an older guy. Even though corners last longer as older guys, but he's still an older guy. So it's kind of hard for people to give up a #1 for an older guy. I mean, Amari Cooper, he still got the rest of his career. But it's kind of hard for a guy to go #1. But now, I think it's highly unlikely that he would go for a #1. I think it's highly unlikely. But the way that people have been trading, like I said, this past NFL season has been very trade happy, kind of like an NBA season. So I wouldn't be completely surprised, but I just think it's highly unlikely if he goes for a #1. What will hurt you, as far as if you're a Texan fan, is if other teams get into the bidding, because that's going to drive the price up. And we do have two 2s. Could you take one of those 2s and probably a 2 and a 3, a 2 and a future 4, or a 2 and a future 3, a 2 and a 4, something like that, to get Patrick Peterson? Because with those 2 2s and your #1 pick you had that you already granted, and then you got the 2 2s, you got your 2, you got 2 from Seattle, you were possibly more than likely going to draft a corner and 2 offensive linemen, or 2 corners and offensive linemen, depending on how the draft fell and how things happen. Would you want to go ahead and get a Patrick Peterson? The answer is absolutely yes. One, if you Texas fans, if you trade for Patrick Peterson, the message that you are telling us is that you believe that these Texans can get to the playoffs and have to go up against your Kansas Cities, your New Englands, your Pittsburgh Steelers, teams with weapons or with quarterbacks, the San Diego or the LA Chargers, things of that nature. Because if you look at the rest of the schedule, we don't really face, outside of the Eagles and possibly when we play the Colts again, pass-happy teams. I mean, we still have Jacksonville. We still have Tennessee. Those are not pass-happy teams in our division. The Redskins don't have any threats. Denver has weapons, but don't have a quarterback to get them the weapons. Cleveland's, I don't know. The Jets, same thing. Don't really have weapons. They just drafted a rookie quarterback. Don't really have weapons. So it's really the Eagles, because they got Carson Wentz. And possibly because luck is luck, and Luck did throw for over 400 yards, even though he had to throw the ball 60 times, he still threw for 400 yards against your secondary. And you do know that T.Y. Hilton has always been an Achilles heel when it comes to the Texans. So, is it possible that, when you make that trade, you're telling us you're going to get to the playoffs and you got to go up against Kansas City and Pat Mahomes and all those weapons like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. You got to go against Tom Brady, who is Tom Brady. You got to go against San Diego with Keenan Allen. And you got to go against Pittsburgh with Brown and Juju. And you got to go up against all these weapons when it comes to the playoff time. Okay, that's when you're really going to see when the secondary is really going to need help. So you need a top flight corner like Patrick Peterson. And then you have somebody that's on the same level as Honey Badger to hold people accountable. Because even when even in the 3-game winning streak before we made the 4 games, if you talk to Honey Badger, he was still pissed. He held his team accountable. Like, man, we winning, but we ain't winning like we supposed to. He didn't really look happy into the Buffalo game and then last week against Jacksonville, because those 2 games, the defense out-muscled bad offenses, turned the ball over, scored, put your team in scoring position, didn't let up. The defense didn't leave their foot off the gas. And he was holding his people accountable. You add a player like Patrick Peterson, he's going to do the same thing. So now, your rookie safety, Justin Reed, he see all these grown men holding people accountable, hold him accountable. He's growing. He's going to be growing into that. He's going to start holding people accountable. Jonathan Joseph, I like Jonathan Joseph as a mental standpoint. I think he's a smart corner, but he's lost a step. So if you do draft a corner, which you're still going to have to draft, you're going to have Jonathan Joseph and Patrick Peterson coaching him. With Patrick Peterson's talent and accountability, with Honey Badger's accountability, with Jonathan Joseph's mental knowledge of the game. Cause I do think that after Jonathan Joseph's done, I think the Texans need to bring him in as a corner, as a corners coach, a players coach, as a coach, a position coach. I mean, that's what I'm looking for, as a position coach. I think that his mental capacity of the game will really help young guys. I think you can help grow and groom a future corner and don't let him walk like he did AJ, but you be able to grow him into the system, grow him around these people who holding people accountable. That just helps you, and also helps better your chances of retaining Honey Badger as well. It's all positive that standpoint. The only thing that's bad is if other teams step up. I know it was ties about New Orleans wanting them, but they just traded for Eli Apple. They don't really have any draft capital now because they traded a 4th-round pick and stuff for Eli Apple. They traded their 1st-round pick in the draft earlier to move up in the draft, so they don't have a 1 out this year. They might have a 2, but I don't think they have a 2. But if they do have a 2, and if it comes down to the 2, you do have 3rd and 4th-round picks that you can help sweeten the pot to get him there. Now, let's talk about the Oakland Raiders trade of Amari Cooper to Dallas, because I'm going to do some spins on it that somehow affects the Houston Texans, and I'm going to let y'all know why. But first, we're going to look at it from Dallas' angle. Dallas Cowboys. I understand the move. I understand the acquiring of Amari Cooper. I don't like what y'all gave up for him. Now, in my hometown, I'm from the same hometown that the receiver, Courtland Sutton, that played for the Denver Broncos, is from. A lot of Cowboy fans down here as well. Courtland Sutton was one of them. A lot of those fans are highly pissed that the Dallas Cowboys did not draft Courtland Sutton, and they are looking for a receiver. And you give up a 1st-round pick for Amari Cooper. Let this be absolutely clear. Like I just said, people don't go 1st-round picks. The only receivers that are worth 1st-round picks is Hop, Odell, Brown, and Julio. And possibly A.J. Green. I'll let you slide with A.J. That's it. Amari Cooper is not worth the 1st-round pick. He's not even the top 10 receiver. Amari Cooper will have a 200-yard game here, and then have 3 straight games with under 50 yards. And then have another 200-yard game. And then have another 3-game stretch with under 50 yards. I was looking at the stats earlier from the games this year. He's played in 6 games. 2 games, he's had over 100 yards. The other 4, he's had 2 or less catches in the game. And he's worth the 1st-round pick? Like, Oakland straight finagle Dallas. But I understand it because Dallas was I understand the Cowboys' angle. Because the Cowboys are at a point They just lost to the Redskins, but they've already beaten the Giants. They haven't played Philly yet, and they get to play the Redskins again at home. This division is still right there. From the Dallas Cowboys can still win the NFC East. So I understand it. We got to do something to bolster up this offense. Dak does have no weapons. He does have no receivers. We have, I know in their opinion, the best running back in the game. In my opinion, I think that Gurley is the number one running back. But if you tell me Zeke is the number one running back, I'm not going to argue. If you say that Zeke's the best running back, I'm not going to argue. Because the boy is that damn good. I just like Gurley slightly better. But if you tell me Zeke is the best running back, I'm not going to argue that shit. So we have, in their opinion, like I say, I'm just from their perspective, we have the best running back in the game. We need other weapons outside. And because of that, defense is going to, because you have Zeke, defense is going to go 8, 9 guys in the box. So Amari Cooper should be wide open. He should be in 1-1 coverage. And Amari Cooper can fly. He got speed. So I understand you going after Amari Cooper. I get that. And I think he should be a good fit in Dallas because he's going to be the number one guy. He don't have Crabtree. He don't have Crabtree on the other side taking away production. He's going to get the balls. He's going to get all the targets. And he's going to be freed up because people are going to be playing 8, 9 guys in the box. Because they got that boy Zeke back there eating. So they're going to have to load that box up. So that's going to free Amari Cooper up. So I understand that. I get that. I just don't give him the first round pick. That's the only thing about Dallas. I'm like, that was the dumbass move. Because you gave up a first round pick for a guy who does not have that much production. And I think since he's been in the NFL, he's tied for leading drops. So he will drop the ball. But, like I said, I understand the talent and the reason why you would go after it. I just don't understand. I just don't agree with the first round pick. Now for Oakland. The more I think about it, I ain't gonna lie. When the trade happened, when I first seen it, I applaud it. And if I'm an Oakland fan, or if I'm a person living in Las Vegas and I'm about to root for the Raiders because they about to come to Las Vegas, I'm actually applauding the move. And I want them to trade Derek Carr. And if I'm John Gruden, and this is the angle of the Texans, if I'm John Gruden, I'm calling Jacksonville and like, what y'all want to do? Really, what y'all want to do? Because this is why I like the move if I'm a Raiders fan. I understand it. I understand, like, man, we gave up Cleo Mack. We gave up Amari Cooper. Now you want to give up Derek Carr? If you don't believe that Derek Carr is that guy, that dude, go ahead and ban the ship now. The reason why, you don't want to be stuck in a Ryan Tannehill situation in Miami. You don't want to be stuck with an Andy Dalton situation in Cincinnati. You don't want to be stuck with me as a Texan fan had to deal with year in year out when you had Matt Schaub. Is he the guy? Isn't he the guy? Or he's just the guy? He's the guy that's good, just good enough to keep his job. Not good enough to win it, nothing, but just good enough to get like. And that's the worst quarterback. I'd rather you be elite or be straight trash. Don't give me that middle shit. I don't want to be. Oh, we okay to win. No, fuck that. I want you to be damn good and win me some Super Bowls and put me in the conversation year after year, or be absolute trash. I know I gotta get rid of you, and I can place myself to acquire a number 1 overall pick. And that's what I'm doing. Because if I'm a Raider fan, I want you to trade Derek Carr. I don't want to win no more games. I think they 1-4 or 1-5. I want to go 1-6, 1-15. Give me the number 1 overall pick because you got 3 number 1s already. Give me the number 1 overall pick, my pick. I should have a top 15 pick and a top 20 pick dealing with the Chicago and with the Chicago trade and with this Dallas Cowboy trade. I should have 3 picks, all in the top 20. 1 top 5, 1 top 15, 1 top 20. And you know what I'm doing with that? Straight up off rip, drafting the quarterback number 1. Drafting the best receiver I can get, drafting the best running back I can get, all in the first round. I got my triplets right there. That second round, start building offensive linemen. Next year, you got two ones. You got your one, and you got the Chicago's one. You know what I'm doing? I'm drafting. Then I'm going after my defense. I'm drafting either the best 2 pass rushers, a pass rusher and a secondary guy, the best 2 however that draft falls out. However the draft, whether the positioning, all that, the players fall to me. I'm doing that, and I'm going to walk into Las Vegas with a brand new team That's my guy. Remember, we got this John Gruden. This is quarterback guru. It's John Gruden's QB camp year after year after year. So he's supposed to know these guys in the draft. He's supposed to know how to evaluate these quarterbacks. Let's see what you can do. Now we got your guys. And if for some way you can finagle Jacksonville to give up a number one, let's be clear. Derek Carr is not worth a number one. But neither is Amari Cooper. And before Amari Cooper got dealt, if you like, hey, they gonna trade Amari Cooper and they're gonna trade Derek Carr, but one of them going for a first round pick, which one you gonna say? You gonna say Derek Carr. You know why? Because he's a quarterback. And quarterbacks always value more higher than a receiver because they're the most valuable position. So when you coming from that angle, teams get desperate. Like I say, Sam Bradford went for a number one. And Minnesota knew that Sam Bradford wasn't going to be the answer, but they felt that their team was that damn good that they were going to trade number one because they thought their team get to the Super Bowl. If you trade for Derek Carr, even if you trade Derek Carr for a 7th-round pick, the team that's acquiring Derek Carr, he's your guy. You know why? Because he's already gotten paid. He's already got his contract. So that means you're trading for that contract as well. You're trading for that contract as well. I know it's not basketball. I know contracts ain't guaranteed. But when you acquire a guy, you're still going to be taking that contract unless you cut him. And if you cut him, you're still taking that cap money hit. So if you're trading for the guy, you're trading for that contract. So if you're trading for that contract, you're telling yourself and you're telling your team, you're telling everybody, he going to be our guy. Because he got this 4-5 year. I think he has a $100 million deal. I'm not exactly for sure, but I think he had a $100 million deal. So you trade for this deal. So he's going to be your guy. And if you Jacksonville Jaguars, ain't you in that same situation? Ain't you in the same situation Dallas? Ain't you in the same situation that Minnesota was in 2 years ago? You have elite defense. And you believe that you can win this division. This division is right here in front of you still. I mean, you're only a game behind. Now but you already 0-2 in the division. You lost to the Titans. You lost to the Texans at home. You still got to go to Nashville. You still got to come to Houston. But you still got to play the Colts twice. You should be able to match up good against the Colts because you have a secondary. You need a quarterback, and then you just got Carlos Hyde. You got TJ Yeldon. Hopefully, whenever Leonard Fournette decides to come back, Leonard Fournette comes back. So you got weapons in the backfield. What's holding you back is the quarterback, and I guarantee you, if Jacksonville loses in London on Sunday morning against the Philadelphia Eagles, do not be surprised because the trade deadline is next Tuesday. If you're going to get that notification, you just get that notification that Derek Carr just got traded to Jacksonville. Because Jacksonville's in that same situation. Now, when teams are in desperate situations and call for desperate measures, that's how you get teams to unload number one overall picks like Dallas just did for Amari Cooper. So, I think more than likely, their best case scenario is getting a 2nd-round pick for Derek Carr. But hey, if they can finagle a 1st-round pick, by all means. If they can finagle a 1st-round pick out of Jacksonville, you know what time it is in Oakland. Oakland's gonna come away with a running back, a quarterback, a receiver, and a defensive stud. They got 4 1st-round picks. Now that's more than likely that's a pipe dream, but they can probably get 2 too. I mean, they can get a 2 for Derek Carr, a 2 and a 3, something like that. Then, like I said, you draft a quarterback, you draft a running back, you draft a receiver. In that 2nd round, you get 2 stud offensive linemen. So now you got a front to protect your quarterback. You got a running game to help unload the pressure. And then you got number 1 receiver. Then your 3rd or 4th round. Then they got 3rd round. Also, they have a 3rd round for the Khalil Mack trade as well. Try to get you what's really hot right now. Try to get you one of those special type receivers, one of those quick, fast guys who's a guy who you can use in returns, a guy you can use as you do special plays and reverses and all types of stuff like that. One of those special, just straight burner guy, just a straight fast guy. So you got your number 1 receiver, and then you get your little fast, quick guy. You got your running back. You get some offensive linemen. Then the next year, you go defense heavy. You bolster that defense. And you walk into Las Vegas in 2020 with those studs. And if you're Jacksonville, you bringing in Derek Carr, and you hoping that Derek Carr can guide your ship. because you have the defense. Because Derek Carr is definitely better than Blake Bortles. And to be honest, if I'm Oakland, I would actually ask for Blake Bortles. So Blake Bortles, and tell Blake, and if I'm John Gruden, hey, Blake Bortles, throw how many picks you want to throw. I don't give a damn. Because we trying to go 1-15, to be honest with you. Like that's the angle that I'm looking for. Now, they ain't going to ever come out and say that because teams going to have the competitive edge. But take some notes from basketball. Take some notes from baseball. Sometimes tanking is good. Look at the Astros. Look at the Royals. They tanked in the World Series. Look at Philly. They tanked. And they have two players who are eventually going to be top 10 players, and Embiid and Simmons. They look like they probably like what the third or fourth best team in the East. Don't be everybody know I'm a Magic fan. Don't be like my Magic and try to tank, but don't have convictions in your tanking and start unloading your picks. Because I think that's what got Rob Hennigan fired. Is you trade away Victor Oladipo, you trade away Tobias Harris, you drafted Dario Saric, but you traded Dario Saric for Alpha Payton. You unloaded your pieces who turned out to be good quality pieces. You got an all-star in Victor Oladipo. You got two good solid players in Dario Saric and Tobias Harris, and you still drafted Aaron Gordon with them. So you would have all them together because Aaron Gordon and Dario Saric was in the same draft. You already had Tobias Harris and you already had Victor Oladipo the year before. So you had all them, but it's not basketball. But I'm just saying, don't be like that and start unloading your talent and be like, damn, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And the rebuild lasts for 10 years. Don't do that. If you're going to start doing rebuild, have convictions with your rebuild. Be smart with your rebuild. And actually be like, you know what, we're going to rebuild. And when things get a little shaky, we know it's part of the process. We're going to stand firm because we know what it's going to look like. Look at what happened to L.A. Just look down the street to L.A. Look down the street to L.A. They was a trash team. Now they got their quarterback, got their running back, and then boom, boom, boom. They got all these superstar players. They got them in free agency. They did trades. They won the free stuff. Now with they 7-0, second best offense in the league. Got MVP candidate Todd Gurley. Do things like that, and I'm thinking that's what John Gruden is envisioning when he goes to take his team to L.A. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't. Comment below if you haven't. Click that bell. Get my videos. I holla.